Hey, in this video, I'm going to share with you why raising private finance can be the key to unlocking the next level within your property business. And that doesn't matter what strategy you're currently focusing on, whether you're looking to build your portfolio, whether you're looking to do buy to flip projects, or whether you're going down a full Airbnb service accommodation holiday let type route, right? Scaling my property portfolio was going to be slow if I only just use my own cash. I had to go through deal sourcing for a year and a half to then build up the confidence, build up some cash to then be in a position to buy my first buy to let. And going into my very first buy to let, I had £20,000 of my own cash to go into that. So that basically meant we just had enough to put down the deposit and buy that buy to let. So we needed another means, i.e. more cash, to come in and fundamentally give us the money that we needed to do the refurbishment here. So first protocol, who do I know? Who has cash around me that could be friends, family? And my very first investor was my mummy. And yes, I said mummy, because she had money sitting in the bank, eroding, getting eaten away with inflation, and basically had £20,000, which is nailed on how much we needed for the refurb here. So I had £20,000 in my own cash, £20,000 from my mummy and her cash there, and basically put that into the one pot to then buy and refurbish this property. Now, when you're starting out in property, it can feel very risky to maybe take on someone else's cash because you maybe don't have the experience, don't have the track record, you're probably not confident in your refurb numbers yet because you've maybe not done any refurb projects. Totally understand that. But the thing to consider here is I had a year and a half of deal sourcing where there was probably 30 odd deals done within that time. I project managed multiple refurbs along the way. So there was a lot of kind of track record and confidence built up through that process. And how I sold myself to my mum in terms of taking that investment was, well, I fundamentally have half of the cash going into this project. I'm using your cash for the other 50%. So if something went wrong, here's how I sold it to my mum. If something goes wrong with that deal, because I was executing the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy, and we maybe get a down valuation, or we spend over on the refurbishment, even though we had a contingency in there. If we get less money back on the refinance, I'll take less back from my pot to ensure that you're gonna get your capital back and you're gonna get your portion of interest in it, which was 8% we'd agreed at the time. And the thing about raising private finance is if I had not explored that option, if I had not had that conversation with my mum, then I probably would have had to continue doing deal sourcing to just continue building up more cash while also still saving from working full-time in oil and gas. And yeah, things would have scaled for sure, but far slower than what they have been able to. So raising finance isn't for everyone, but what I would say is it all comes down to your intention to scale and actually weighing up, well, how much of a supply of a pipeline of deals do I have here? What's my cash position and how can I really monetize these things? And when you can combine deal sourcing with scaling your own portfolio, which are two completely different strategies, but the thing is, analyzing a deal is the same regardless of the strategy. You just go for different returns or different exit options. And because you have the potential private finance option there, it means you can then cherry pick out of all those deals that's coming through the pipeline, which ones you keep to add to your portfolio or do your own projects on, and which ones you sell on for a fee, making $3-4 grand. And it all comes down to your end goal at the end of the day. If you are happy using your own cash and you maybe have a lot of cash just now, absolutely perfect. Leverage that, use that. But raising finance for me, having raised over £2 million of private finance, has been the absolute game changer for me to even get involved in this project that I'm sitting in just now. This property is our first commercial venture, fully funded with private finance, allowed us to purchase it, allowed us to renovate it. And to give you an idea on the numbers on this one, we paid £75,000 for the building alone, and we spent around about £200,000 renovating it. So that's quite a chunk of private finance. If you haven't currently raised private finance and you're thinking, that seems miles off, see once you build up a track record and see once you've built up that kind of confidence on how the process works, you're nailed on with your due diligence, you're nailed on with your number crunching, like you can become a really attractive investment for people who have money sitting. And it's absolutely crazy just how much money is actually out there, because people, let's face it, don't like speaking about money. Mostly probably in your circles, your family and friends, it's quite a taboo subject. But the more that you can showcase your credentials, the more that people are getting clued on to, well, inflation's eroding away at my savings here because the cost of fuel, the cost of living in general has just skyrocketed over the past couple of years. And people, when they're investing, they want certainty. So if you can position your offer of investment with clear understanding of how the process works, with a clear project that they can see, they can feel, they can smell, to understand exactly what their money is going to be invested into and for what purpose. So you can present them with an opportunity to partner up with you in your projects. It can be absolutely huge for you to continue scaling, to potentially get even involved in bigger projects than you currently are just now, but also to really create a longer term collaboration with even just a handful of investors. If you imagine, if you can find one investor with, say, £1 million, which might sound absolutely crazy, right? But they're out there. And compare that with maybe 10 investors who have 10 grand each. Like, there's so much less hassle dealing with that one person with £1 million than 10 individuals at the smaller amount. And they're probably thinking and operating at a level already where they are open to risk. They understand the risks. They are very much more about you as an individual than the project itself, but they will consider both. So it's thinking, well, how can you present yourself to be an investable asset? You know, and a lot of that comes through social media. So the £2 million of private finance I've raised, 90% of that has probably been generated through creating content on social media, showcasing exactly what we're up to, and actually making a clear call to action in terms of what we are looking for and how the whole process works. So one thing you need to get clear on if you are going to be going down the route of raising private finance is, how can I come across as somebody who's trustworthy by, one, being a good person, but also by showing my credentials in terms of what projects I've been involved with and how they've actually performed. Being open and authentic with, well, here's what I projected the project to do prior to actually doing the project, and here's actually how it performed in the end. Could be a massive way to build up trust and be like, yeah, okay, not everyone's perfect, but I trust what you're doing. I love your openness and adaptation to moving things forward. And it's just thinking through the lens of, what does an investor want? They want certainty. They want to know what they're investing in. They want to know what the returns are. And for most people, I found, investors want to be part of something. They want to invest in you. They want to invest in a project with someone to really see the growth and the development that's potential for them, so that it feels like, yes, they're getting a return on their money, but they're also investing into something that's pretty meaningful. So it's thinking, how can I become investable? How can I get in front of these people that have the cash that are going to be able to invest into my property projects, and marrying the two up? And it won't happen overnight for you in terms of attracting investment, but the more that you can present those things that I've just mentioned, the more investable you will become. So yeah, hopefully that helped in your pursuit of raising private finance.